Hello, welcome again to my channel. Today I'll be talking about the books I read in February. I read a couple of books in February, about 7 to 10. 7 I finished, 3 I did not. So the first is The Daughter of the Moon Goddess, and there was A Song of Silver Flame Like Night, Nettle and Bone, Legend and Latte, Gallant, The Stardust Thief, The Atlas Six, Babel, and the last is The Book Eater. So that's about it. First is the first I'll be talking about is Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Was written by Su Lin Tan. It's a YA and an adult fantasy novel. This novel was inspired by Chinese mythology and, to be specific, the legend of the moon goddess Chang'er. I think that's the name. So, but this story is not about her, it's about her daughter called Xin. So Xin learns that her mother has been held captive since she was born. Anyway, she goes on a quest to free her mom. There are many challenges, there are dragons. In her quest, she met the Celestial Crown Prince and the captain of the Celestial Army. They were of help to her, and although one did betray her, but it's a very nice book. As a person who is used to Chinese myth, I see that a lot in their movies, documentaries, and novels. I would say the novel is not quite unique to me. Like, it's not unique. It's refreshing, but not unique. So Goodreads gave it a 4 point something rating, but I'll rate it to 3.5. It's really good. But like I said, I've read so many novels like that before. Of course, not something with the Legend of the Moon Goddess, but I pretty much know all the Legends of the Moon Goddess, and you know what I mean. So anyway, it's not new to me, the story, but it's nice. It's a really nice book. During her quest, like, I pretty much like the fact that she's serious with what she wants to achieve. She doesn't rely on anybody. Even if she's a girl, she doesn't rely on the men around her to help her do things. She wants to fight. She becomes a warrior. She wants to do this. She does it on her own. It's actually a very nice book. Seriously, you should read it. If not that, like I said, I'm quite familiar with stories like that. I would have given it a 4 point rating. So the next is A Song of Silver Flame Like Night. It's also a novel inspired by Chinese mythology, but in this case, the myth that is obvious in the book is about the it's a myth about the demon gods. Apparently, there are four demon gods. I think there's the dragon, the phoenix, the tortoise. I can't remember the last one. So anyway, A Song of Silver Flame Like Night is about a girl, an orphan girl in a fallen kingdom, who has the power to either rebuild her kingdom or to destroy it completely. So she doesn't believe in magic initially until she meets this practitioner. His name is Wen. And together he exposes her to magic, tells her she has power in her, and then she discovers that she actually has one of the demon gods inside her. And he, on the other hand, he has a demon in him. That's one of the reasons is people fear him and all that. It's a nice book, but I got tired easily. The main point is I feel like everything she said in the 500 and something pages could have been said in just one chapter, because it's more like a history textbook, and the boring type. It's boring. Seriously, it's boring. Like, there wasn't much going on in the book. So it's something, if she had summarized it into maybe 200 pages, maybe I would have been giving it a 3.5 rating, but currently I'm just going to rate it 2.7 because it bored me to death. And then if I read a book, I have to finish it. So I was just counting the pages. Oh God. Anyway, to the next book, Nettle and Bone, was written. Oh, sorry. A Song of Silver Flame Like Night is written by Amelia Wenzhao. I'm not sure I pronounced it correctly, but anyway, that's how it's written. I pronounce the way it's written. Next book is Nettle and Bone. I loved Nettle and Bone. It's about a princess turned nun who goes on a quest to save her sister from this wicked king. She discovers that her sister is suffering terribly in the hands of his husband, who wants an heir by all means. So, like, almost every day she's pregnant. Immediately she gives birth, it makes her pregnant again. So, and if this continues, I mean, just imagine being pregnant every year for 10 years. And then the worst part is he hits her, he beats her, what I mean. And then she always loses the baby. The only one she was fortunate enough to give birth to died. And she doesn't want this to continue, but she doesn't have the power to stop it. So what does she do? She leaves the nunnery and she goes on a quest to save her sister. She gets the help of a Dust's wife, who is a witch. Dust wives are witches that guards cemeteries. So she gets the help of a Dust wife. Why she needs a witch is because the kingdom is being protected. That's the person she wants to kill, his kingdom, is being protected by a fairy godmother who is very, very, very powerful. Like, her power is probably, you know, if it were easily defeated, the kingdom would have been defeated, but it's not. She's really strong and powerful, and currently there's nobody who has been able to defeat her. That's why the kingdom has stayed for so long. She's ancient. She's ancient, like more than 200 years old. Along the way, she meets a knight. Rather, she frees the knight, and then it goes with her also. And then she meets our own fairy godmother, and they go together. It's really a nice book because it talks about women and all their suffering, all, childbirth, the pain they go through childbirth, and then every other thing. Like, they are collaterals. They were born to get married. And that's like basically what the only thing a woman can do: give birth to a child, get married, and give birth to a child. Thank God it's not the same these days. Anyway, so it's a gothic novel, horror, if you would count that as horror. There are ghosts, there are witches, there are, what's that thing? Cannibals, and so many other things. So I guess it counts as horrible. In my case, it was really just a very chill gothic novel, and I loved it. So I'll give it a star, four star, 4 star for me. Next is Legend and Latte. If you want a cozy, you know, high fantasy novel, you want a cozy high fantasy novel, go for it. I would really recommend it. Legends and Latte is a story about an orc sword woman slash mercenary, an orc sword woman slash mercenary who quits a job to become a barrister. She opens a coffee shop, recruits the help of a carpenter and Hob, who is a carpenter. His name is Calamity, and then there's this other creature she recruits as an assistant. It's really a nice book because she wants a new image for herself and she goes for it. She's not shy, she's not scared that, oh my god, like an og. Imagine an og opening a coffee shop. Oh, just to be clear, it's set in an imaginary world and all the creatures there are, I don't think there are humans there. Probably there are, but maybe I wasn't paying that much attention. But there are different creatures, they're like different creatures. And there is romance in it, but it's sort of a queer love because she falls in love with another creature who is female. They're not even humans in the first place. And so it's a really nice book. You would love it. I did love it. It's cozy, it's warm. I read it in just one day, 280 something pages, and it's a little book. Yeah. So next is The Stardust Thief. I love The Stardust Thief. It's inspired by one of my favorite books of all time, Arabian Nights, or 1001 Nights, like most people call it, or rather like it's called. I always call it Arabian Nights. I don't know why. So the next book is Gallant by Victoria Schwab. It was released last year or so. It's Victoria Schwab is like the queen of horror. The Stardust Thief is about a girl known as the Midnight Merchant. That's like a code name, a secret name. So she's known as the Midnight Merchant. And she hunts, what she does is she hunts magic. But you see, the thing is, magic is illegal. So she's like sort of a criminal. So she hunts magic together with her Jean bodyguard, and then she sells it illegally. So it's a really nice book. She has lost her family and her clan. Everybody was murdered. She was the only survivor and was saved by the Jean. And since then, she has been with him. So I wouldn't say, well, she saves the prince, and that's how she draws the attention of the king, who recruits her to look for a treasure. There is this lamp that is said to hold a gene in it, and the gene inside is one of those gene kings, and it's very powerful. Apparently it can destroy a kingdom and do whatever. The king is against magic. He hates gene. In fact, he used to hunt and kill gene, but that's like the job of his first son now, Prince Omar. He hunts and kills jinns for his father, for his kingdom. And of course, he has his 40 thieves with him. He has his 40 thieves. That's basically what they do. So he wants this lamp so he can ask the jinn he needs to probably destroy all the other jinn. That was the idea. So he recruits her and said, now the irony of it is she's going with a jinn to look for a gene that will destroy all gene. It's a really nice book. And apart from that, like I said, it's inspired by A Thousand and One Night. And because of that, there are so many stories from that book in it, like literally so many stories. You can just open a chapter and it's about a story of, not necessarily, it's gotten from there, but not like copied and pasted. No, there is a little switch, like the story of Sherazad, is that her name? The lady who tells the story to the king, the first story in A Thousand and One Night, she tells stories to the king, and that's how she stops the killing of his wife. So, but in this case, this queen is the mom of the younger prince. So anyway, it's a really nice book. I'll rate it I would say, it's written by Chelsea Abdullahi, and I will call her a real storyteller. So Gallant is about a girl, a teenage girl. Her age wasn't specified, so I'm thinking 15, 14. She grew up to spend almost all her life in an orphanage, or it could be younger. Her name is Olivia. All Olivia has always wanted was a family of her own. And apart from that, she has always wanted to be wanted. Like, in the case where people want you, you get what I mean? And she doesn't speak. So she has all these emotions in her. She can't really express herself, but she does well on her own. So luckily for her, a letter comes that your uncle wants you back home. Your family is waiting for you. And she's so happy because if she doesn't leave the orphanage when she's supposed to leave, they either sent her out to marry an old man or something. The conditions are not, or the alternative are not really positive. So she's happy. She takes her things, goes back home. But then when she gets home, the reception she gets aren't positive. Because number one, the uncle who wrote the letter has been dead for more than a year. And number two, her cousin doesn't want her there. He sees her and he tells her to go away, that she should go away. And she's angry, she's mad. Like, I mean, finally, I have a family, but they do not want me. Why is that? But later, she gets to learn that her family has a huge secret. Apparently, they are tasked with guarding death. Yeah, you got that right, death. Death is locked in a building that can only be unsealed by their blood, and he wants to get out by all means. In fact, so it drives almost every member of the family insane just to make them, free him. And the boy was thinking that he's the only one left in the family. So if he dies, he assumes that, death will die because only their blood can free him. So imagine if he dies. So death will probably stay there for all eternity and probably dies. And then she comes like, he doesn't want her, he wants her to go away. But she says, I think we can defeat that, right? She tries all means. It's a really nice novel, seriously. It's a nice novel because at first I really was hoping, I had hoped that death would be defeated. Although there was the defeating at the end, but it wasn't a happy ending. At the same time, it wasn't really that sad because it's like, you know, it's something like you had, expected it a little bit, but you were hoping. Anyway, so Gallant is a really nice novel, horror, YA, young fantasy, and adults can read it alike. And it's small, less than, about 300 pages. I'm not sure. So I've forgotten. So next book is, now this I did not finish, The Book Eater. I would say I'm not a fan of the book. It's kind of weird and creepy. So apparently there's this race of people who survive by eating book. And then in their race, there's these people who survive by eating brains. It's it's like I said, I really don't like the story, but it's among the um, Goodreads nominees for best fantasy novel of last year. I am not a fan. I'm not a fan of the book, so I did not finish it. Probably I will later because I spent a whole lot of money buying that book. It's very expensive, and then it was terrible. Not because the writing is, I just don't like the story. So like it's about this lady who has a son who eats, she's a book eater, and then she has a son who eats the brain of humans. And then what she does is she catches innocent people who are supposed to be like good and then feeds. I don't understand that logic there. And feeds to her son. Why? Because she does, probably she doesn't want her son to be, when she catches criminal and all that, probably her son will become something like that. So she does what? Innocent people, people who are nice, like reverend fathers, and people who are really good, people who you would assume would go to heaven, those kind of people. And then what she feeds to her son, feeling guilty at it. It's a sick book. I do not like it because I can't, I didn't finish it, but at the same time, I just don't, she wasn't justifying her act, but in a way, she was trying to make us understand that she doesn't have the choice. No, I do not think anybody has the right to hurt others just to save someone else. It doesn't matter if the person is your loved ones or it doesn't matter how sorry you are. No, the right thing would have been to probably just kill, instead of killing others or harming others, just let him die. Sorry, that's just it. But it's because those other people have families. Maybe if I get to the end, I would like it. But for now, I think the book is sick. Next is Babel. I started it, I didn't finish it, not because I didn't like it, but I feel like it's one of those books that you should take your time reading. It's a nice book. It's about colonialism and Babel is apparently, it's a dark academia, just like, oh, sorry, it's a dark academia. It's about this boy who is taken away from his home, a Chinese boy who is taken away from his home and enrolled in a school in Britain, in Oxford to be specific, and then is enrolled in the Department of Translation or something where they have the Babel. Apparently, Babel is an institute where they translate and do all that. But the interesting thing about it is that there is magic, lots of it, lots of magic in the book. It's going well. I've read just a few pages, but it's really going well. So next is, what other book did I read? Okay, I started the Atlas 6. I haven't finished it. The spine cracked, so I couldn't finish it. When the spine cracked, my heart broke with it. Because number one, the book was expensive. Imagine buying a book that is expensive and just to be, I'm just pointing it out that I was very careful with it. But I don't even drink water when I read. That's how much I take care of my book. And then I'm reading it, and then the spine cracks. I'm not even up to like page whatever, the spine cracks. Anyway, so I just left it. But so far, it's a really good book. It's a dark academia novel about six individuals who are enrolled in a library. It's apparently it's an Alexandrian library, which is said to hold all the knowledge and secrets in the world. So their task is to protect the library, and they're supposed to go through a kind of training and at the same time competition. And after a year, only 5 people would be chosen. These 6 people are the best in the world. They were enrolled from different parts of the continent, rather different continent, Africa, Europe, Asia, and they're brought together. There is Libby and Nicholas. They actually have physical magic. They can move things, they can create wormholes, do lots of things. And then there is Parisa. Parisa can read the mind. There is Roselli. Roselli, she can speak to nature, she can control plants, make them do whatever she wants. And there is Tristan. Tristan can see through illusion, I think. Tristan can see through illusion. And Callum. Callum can cast illusion and make you do what he wants. It can control people, like, yeah, basically it. So far, it's going well. They're together. They were supposed to use their magic together, but it's not going well. Everybody, when you bring people who all think and know that they are the best, I think cooperation is, they are used to working alone. These individuals, they're used to working alone because they have been the best for so long. Nobody has been with them, so it's going well. There are disagreements, and I'll finish it very soon. So that's all the books I've read in February. That's all the books I've read in February. moving on to March, I have so many books that I want to read. I'll probably read up to 20, hopefully. Hopefully I can. So that's just it. Okay, so those are the books I've read for the month. See you later. Bye. Bye.